talked for a while. Like you had been talking for a while, but I just assumed you would.
You're live.
Like I just kept talking. Thanks.
No, you're fine. You're fine.
Oh my god. Binks, get down. Hey.
Oh no.
Oh my god. Mercury retrograde though. Like, okay.
I just see this tail.
Seriously, like I don't know if this is like everybody's experience or like if I'm just particularly acceptable to this shit, but like, oh my god.
I like sparks in the background.
Yeah, she's a star. You know.
So, okay, yeah, pick up where you left off. Something with the last thing I heard was with the theater, and we were talking about it, and we hadn't got to the part that was freaky.
Okay, well, I mean, describe freak, because so I had gotten to the point, and I don't know where it cut off, but so basically there was this building. I always assumed it was like part of the military barracks because it looked very like utilitarian. There were like two halves, and one half of this building was burnt down like completely. It was just rubble, and I think I actually took a couple rocks like from the rubble of there, but I don't know what I did with them, which is sad to me. But anyway, so the other half of this building, you would go through the door, and there were just like rows and rows of like auditorium seating, like wooden fold down auditorium chairs.
They're all connected. And that's important, is that they were all connected, like one piece.
All connected. Yeah.
Each row.
It was a row. Yeah, right, exactly. And like, it's strange because this was not a super big building. Like, clearly the only thing that was happening in there was like people sitting and like either watching or listening, which is weird to me because it was like, it was so cramped and like, I don't know. So like the theater was like one of the creepiest things about the Harmonia area to me because it was just so weird. Like, and the fact that it was still there, because I don't know if anyone had owned it, I don't know, but like one half of it burned down and like no one ever demolished it, like no one ever like reconstructed. It was just like this abandoned, half burned down building that had clearly been used for something.
Right. No, I don't know about you, but like I got the feel, and this could have been just like what I believed in at that time. But even now, looking back at it, the place has a history of vandalism, and like I'm pretty sure people probably did some pretty dark stuff there, especially because of some of the stuff we found. But I don't know if you remember this, but one week we went and everything. That's when we discovered it. That's when like all the seats were there, and then the next week, one of the rows of seats was in one piece thrown across the room. Like somebody picked it up and threw it. Not just like a couple people picked it up and moved it over, but it was like a whole row of seats just thrown.
We tried to lift them too. Yeah.
Oh yeah, it was impossible.
And they were so heavy because it was like this entire row of theater seats, wooden theater seats that were connected together by metal. So like it was very heavy. So the idea that this thing had just been like tossed across the room was ridiculous.
Right. That was freaky. And like that's kind of when I got the feeling there was some kind of demonic activity going on there, whether it was like people or spirits or whatever. Like it was creepy.
Yeah.
Super creepy.
It was creepy.
Also, I don't know. Well, oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
I was just gonna mention. So, also another time that we went. I don't remember if it was the same time or a different time, but the fence, like the fence was totally normal when we were there before the time before that, and then we go back.
The fence we saw in the picture.
Yeah, and then we go back, and there's a huge bulge in the fence, but it was from the inside. Like it wasn't even from the outside, but it wasn't even like a small little bump in there. It was like a huge bump, like a human-sized dent in the fence that was like not even just a little bit. Like it was like out pretty far. And it was from
Yeah.
the inside. Like, that was the crazy thing about it.
Like someone had been trapped and
Was
tried
trying to get out.
but like had been like going at, I don't know, like at least 40 miles an hour to like make a dent like that in the fence. Like,
yeah,
it didn't make any sense. I'm sorry, my animals are distracting me. They're like both
no,
on the couch behind
it's
me.
okay. So those are the biggest things I remember, is that big crazy experience, that being thrown around, the crazy stuff we found being left over. Was there anything else that you remember from our personal experiences there?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I guess I would say that like now something of note to me, like looking back in retrospect, is how, despite the fact, because those were some of the scariest, objectively scariest moments I've had in my life, and we still kept going back.
Yeah.
Like, I honestly feel like we were, and I'm not just talking about like teenage stupidity, like I feel like we were abnormally drawn to this location, like when I'm thinking about it now.
Mm-hmm.
Because it wasn't just like, oh, we had a run-in with, you know, like a guy that worked at the factory, or like, oh, we heard something kind of, we thought we heard like whatever. Like, we had like horror movie experiences at this place, and we kept going back. Like one time, and like just to illustrate the point of like how weirdly drawn to this place we were, like I once went back by myself and got chased down, or attempted to chase down, by a Springfield policeman.
I remember that.
Yeah, like, and I had been there alone. Like, why would I have felt, and like that's not, and I mean, yeah, I would like trespass and, you know, places by myself and stuff too. But the fact that I had all these like such scary experiences, and I would go there like unaccompanied, like that's bizarre to me.
Yeah, I didn't know you did that. I just remember you got chased down, but I thought somebody else was with you, but I knew you got chased down.
No, I was by myself that day. That day. And like, yeah. And I had gone there like a few times alone. And when you consider, like, think about the fact that that first night when we had that encounter with whatever it was, and I heard the scream, and I immediately took off running before I could even, you know, before I even saw the light that other people saw, or like heard the footsteps or anything. I heard the scream. I took off running. That's how afraid I was of this place. And I would go back by myself.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Yeah, I would love to go back. Like, I know, I don't think a lot is there anymore, but I would love to go back. I think we should next time I come home.
We definitely should. Absolutely. Anyway, so yeah, that's that. If you want to get into the history of it, I am super excited to hear.
I kind of do. So, okay, so when all this happened, well, okay, the red light, I remember going and looking up red lights at your house when you had like the den and stuff. And that's when I discovered ghost lights, which is a red light energy put out by a ghost.
Interesting.
For whatever reason. And that's when I discovered ghost lights. But it was at your house that I discovered that because of that, which I thought was really interesting. Now, during that time, it was really hard to find any kind of information about this place, like almost impossible. And like, I mean, even now it's still really hard, but I found a lot of information that was put out like in like 2014, and even something that was put out at 2016. Oh, really? So like, yeah. So apparently people have gone back. So like one of the things, okay, so you should definitely like find this. This is really long. I won't read it, but like this was put out by some dude named Francis Thornton. And it's like this huge like history about Harmonia. Apparently, okay, so if you've heard of Sojourner Truth is buried in Battle Creek, Michigan. If you haven't heard of Sojourner Truth, which I thought that everybody in the world has heard of her, but apparently they haven't. But I guess, yeah, I know, because she was such a like prominent figure in like our upbringing and like what they taught us in school.
Yeah.
But it would make sense because, well, she is buried in Battle Creek. Well, so Battle Creek was one of the like outlets of the Underground Railroad. And Sojourner Truth was this slave who ended up escaping and helping people to escape, others to escape through the Underground Railroad. Well, now she's buried in Battle Creek along with several of her family members. one of the things I discovered when I was researching was that Harmonia actually used to be a small village in Springfield Township. Yeah.
Shut up.
Yeah, so it used to be like, and I don't know exactly where it spanned or anything, but it makes sense that there was like a little theater, a little house. Like, I don't think it was very big, but it used to be a town like in the 1800s.
God.
Yeah, and so that's where
that blows my mind.
Sojourner Truth and her family lived in Harmonia.
No, oh my God.
So it's pretty crazy. And so I have like all of this like literature on like the history of it, how she got there, and also like the people she lived with, because one of the things that she always wanted to do was like own her own property, because of course for slaves like that was pretty much impossible. Well, the first like place that ever had her name on it was in Harmonia. She also lived with like several other people, and it's kind of like fuzzy how they're related, if they were friends, if they were relatives, whatever. Well, she ended up having like a couple kids, and they all have different last names, so it sounds like maybe they had different dads. But one of her kids is buried at Harmonia. And actually, her name is Sophia Schuyler. But what's crazy is this is new. This is a new gravestone.
That is new.
Isn't that crazy? And so, like, that's insane, because that's at Harmonia. And I showed you the pictures. La, 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 la. Here's one of the pictures. Is like, okay, first of all, there's been a lot of vandalism at the gravesite. And some people have even stolen, like, headstones. So, like, a lot of them are missing. So we don't even know. However, I have stuff all over the place. However, a lot of them you can't read. So I actually got a list of the people that they know are buried there. And for some reason, her daughter Sophia is the only one that's actually buried there. However, there are a couple grave sites that are unknown. Yeah, and they've never been able to discover what they are. But one of them, it's really, so it's kind of, in a way, it's kind of eerie to me. But even on the gravestone, it just says known to God.
Whoa, that's weird.
Is that crazy?
That's weird.
Like, they didn't even know who this person was then.
Yeah, how does that happen?
I don't know. I'm so confused. Weird. Yeah.
That's weird. Anytime you have like an unknown, unnamed person, especially when you consider the fact that this was like, I mean, running across a dead body that you can't identify in like a city is one thing, but in like, because I can tell you enough of even like Springfield, Michigan is not a terribly populated area in like the Battle Creek area.
Oh yeah.
Back when it was like even less so, and like you have to understand too that like Harmonia or Fort Custer, which is technically in like the Battle Creek area, is like far enough out. It's like between Battle Creek, where we grew up, which is like, you know, an actual town, and Augusta, which is like the next town west. So it's like that area is still really rural, really unpopulated. So back then, there must have been like nothing around. So the idea that there would be like an unidentified dead town of like, they would have known each other in a town. You know what I mean?
Another one
so, like, that's weird.
Yeah, another one that's there that's kind of questionable is all that it's recorded as is Little Sophia.
That's
hi. Or sorry, it's not Sophia. Sorry, Sophia is the other one. Little Stella.
Little Stella.
So, yeah, which is kind of a funny name to have in the 1870s.
That is a weird name. Yeah.
But I thought that was really interesting. What's crazy is the first recording that was around the time we went there was actually recorded around the same time we would go there. So it was by, yeah, like, so there's this list of like the people that are buried there, and it's by this couple named Dave and Robin Ellis. And it says that it was recorded in May 2006.
That's weird.
Is that weird? Because I'm pretty sure we still hung out there then. Because that was the year I graduated.
Oh, yeah. We definitely did. I graduated in 2005, and we started going there. I think it was probably like in 2003 that we started going there. So like, that's bizarre.
Yeah, I don't even know. Another guy, his name is John Hoffman. He used to record, but these, okay, so these happened in 2006. However, I got a more updated list that was recorded in August of 2014. And it looks like they were able to identify like one more person, but the other not so much. Now, what's crazy is that there's a daughter of Sojourner Truth's that like nobody really knows where she was buried at. And like, I'm really curious because there are recordings of people in Battle Creek who have like found bones in their like floorboards, like either in their attics or like underneath the foundation.
One of them.
Didn't your parents find one when you guys moved in?
Yeah. When they no, not when we moved in, when we redid the floors, when they had the, like, my house where I grew up was an older house, and like, it was always carpeted from the time my family moved in. And when I was like 15 or 16, my parents took all the carpet up and had the original hardwood floors finished underneath. But when they pulled it up in the living room, there was kind of like this alcove where there were windows. And when they had moved in, there had been a grand piano there. But like, obviously they moved all the furniture out. And in that little alcove, there was like a trap door. You could open up the trap door, and underneath, it's like just in that little alcove, there was like, there was no cement foundation. It was just like dirt, and the contractor found bones down there.
That's crazy. Did you ever find out who they belonged to?
No, they were too far degraded. So like they had been there for a really long time, I guess. And other than that, my parents wouldn't really tell me anything about it, probably because, you know, like anything dark is bad, and like they didn't want to freak me out or something. But yeah, they were too old and too like deteriorated to be able to identify them or anything.
Yeah. What's crazy is that I'm pretty sure it was someone from the Underground Railroad, because like it's not an isolated case. Like there have been people in like Union City and stuff that have found bones there too, and that's crazy. But another so anyway, I thought that was like super interesting. There's tons of literature on like the history of Harmonia now, but there isn't really anything about hauntings, which is kind of interesting to me. Yeah, but I am very curious about the people, like the families. I didn't get to look up like the families that actually live there or anything, but like they have those monuments that are like really worn down now, but those are like family monuments. So that was really interesting.
That is
now, Sojourner Truth is buried in another cemetery we used to hang out with, but I don't remember us ever having experiences there. I know we looked for them, but they like never happened, which it's a popular cemetery. It's bigger. She just got a new tombstone like when we were in junior high or early high school or something.
And it's like, it's still a used cemetery too. Like people are still buried there. So
right.
It's just a different feel.
Yeah, and it's called Oak Hill Cemetery. And real quick on that, so that's the one that they have the legend of the Crying Mary.
Yeah.
So there's this statue there, and I have visuals. Hold up. So what's weird about these visuals is one of them, the statue is like bronze, and the other one is like all, you know, green and corroded and stuff.
She's oxidized, yeah.
But the other one looks like it's, maybe they redid it. I don't know. But the other one doesn't. Yeah, it doesn't look very old. So anyway, so if you look, you can see like the streaks underneath the eyes of the statue. So it said that, well, there's a few things that are said.
Sorry.
This is Sparks' favorite story.
Yeah, she's just really excited.
So it said that the statue, one of them is that the statue cries at midnight every night, and nobody gets to see it because they lock up the gates and you can't go in. And I remember us like going there after they locked up the gates and we're like trying to see stuff, and it was really pointless. Other people say that she cries on like every full moon and like maybe Halloween or something. However,
like the anniversary of her kid's death or something.
Yes. Okay. So another one is that it was she had like murdered her kids. However, like I I vaguely remember that there are tombstones buried in front of the statue.
There are.
But I thought so. So anyway, first of all, the statue is not of the Virgin Mary. It's actually of a Greek goddess, but I can't remember which one it was. Hold on, I'm going to tell you because I looked it up earlier today. There's some pretty good information on this, actually. Where is it? Oh, I just read it earlier today. It wasn't like a super common one.
Okay.
I've turned off a lot of stuff. I think, okay, so anyway, one person was like, if you look at the water stains, you can see that they go over the eyes from the years of rain coming down on the statue, not from the eyes. Okay. This person is really, really skeptical about the legend of the crying lady. However, this is one that like we all know because like everybody talks about it in Battle Creek.
Oh yeah, like I grew up hearing my mom talk about it.
Right. Yeah, like everybody knows it. I don't know. I swear it was in this article, but all I know is it's not the Virgin Mary. It is a Greek goddess, and that's all that really matters. Anyway, apparently, so it's Johann Decker Greek goddess. Never mind, I still didn't find it. So apparently, it's not Joanne. It's not Johann. It's Johann. And it's actually a dude.
Wow.
Yeah.
This whole time, we'd been thinking it was a woman.
And it was a lady who killed her kids.
Right.
But it was like, she only had like 3 or something. One of them died of scarlet fever. And like, the other one was probably a stillbirth.
Yeah, there was one that just said baby on it.
Right. And so that. Like, yeah, and so like, I'm kind of, I'm kind of disappointed, like, because it's such a good story, but I was like, the fact that like Johann is not a woman and like this wasn't like her statue or anything, like actual like dude, like that was not expected.
Yeah. That's surprising.
Yeah, and and this is also the same cemetery. So Battle Creek is also where, like, if you look on your cereal boxes, it says Battle Creek, Michigan. That's because that's where Kellogg's is and Post. So, like that's where cereal is made. Like, my mom used to work for Kellogg's, actually. She was the person that, like, people would call when they found, like, oh, he did? I don't think I knew that.
My dad was a graphic designer. He would, like, design the cereal boxes and stuff.
Oh, that's awesome. No, my mom was the one that they called if they found like a gorilla in their cereal or something. And she had to like give them coupons. But anyway, so this is the same cemetery that like Bill Knapp and like the Kellogg's are buried at and stuff like that. And apparently the founders of the Seventh-day Adventist Church, which I did not know.
Yeah, so haven't you ever been to the Adventist Village downtown?
I did not even know that we had one.
Yeah, Battle Creek is the birthplace of Seventh-day Adventism. And, like, there's this downtown. It's kind of, like, in a rough area. I don't know. But I've been there before. And it's, like, this little historical village. Like, it's set up with, like, the Kellogg Brothers' original house and, like, this whole little, like, Seventh-day Adventist village.
Why doesn't Battle Creek have more money?
I don't know. Kat, get off the screen. Do you see him? Do you see him?
Oh my god!
Yeah.
That's you have to say something, because I want to see it on the big screen.
What? Oh, okay. Oh
man. That was funny. That's hilarious.
That's my new cat, guys.
That's funny. Yeah, I didn't know that. And Post is buried there. So it's a big cemetery. So I don't know if you watched the video I sent you earlier today, but it was a guy there with a ghost box.
Oh, no, I didn't watch it.
Okay, so I sent it to you, I messaged it to you on Facebook. But so there's this guy there with a ghost box, and there's a couple, I think. But I mean, he was getting responses, which was kind of interesting. It's like 12 minutes long, but the guy has like a really thick Southern accent, and he's like really hilarious to listen to because he's just like, "Hey, Mr. Edwards, are you here today? You want to say hello?" Like, it's just like, I don't know. If I was a ghost, I'd be like, please shut up. Let me rest in peace.
So funny. I'll have to watch that.
Yeah, but it was pretty funny. But so it's very interesting because like I was trying to look for hauntings in Battle Creek and there really aren't that many, but I know they're there. Like even your old house, like your old house is pretty crazy.
Yeah, like I didn't have a ton of experiences in my parents' house, but like when you think about it this way,
which I'm surprised.
I only lived in what?
I'm surprised because it was such an old house and like I don't know.
I had some though. I had some, but it's just like by comparison to the last house I lived in with my ex-husband, that house had like poltergeist activity. So it's like the stuff that happened in my parents' house seemed really tame by comparison. Like I remember seeing a shadow person when I was a small child. It scared the shit out of me and no one believed me. And like I remember this one time my mom had a music box in her room and I was home alone and like the music box was playing and I went into her room and no one was there and the music box was like, so they were like little things that was super creepy, but they were like littler compared to like the last house I lived in. I saw a butter knife fly across my kitchen. Like it had been on the counter and it just like flew and it flew with enough force that it hit my kitchen table, which was solid oak, and it left a dent. So like this knife had some velocity.
Yeah.
Like, so, but anyway, yeah, I did have some experiences in my parents' house as well. And so, yeah, it's interesting that there aren't more stories about Battle Creek because it actually does have a pretty interesting history. And like, I know that you've had experiences and I've had experiences and like, so
yeah, there was that one. I don't remember if it was you I was with or not, but I was out when I lived out by past Harmonia, what we were talking about. I lived out there for a short amount of time. My aunt and cousins still live there, and my uncle actually in our old house we lived in. Everybody has lived in this house. Like everybody in my family has lived in that house. I swear. Like my grandma lived there when I was growing up, and my aunt and uncle lived there when I was growing up, and then we lived there, and then my uncle lives there because he's kind of in quarantine because we found out he was a little weird, and then like my cousins and my aunt live across the street at a family farm. So anyway, I was out there. I was headed to Augusta. And because there's a really cute boy at like a restaurant that I went to there with my parents, and I wanted to see him.
I remember that.
Yeah, but I kept getting lost. Like I don't think I ever actually found the place again because I didn't know where it was, and I was too embarrassed to ask my parents because I knew they knew I was trying to go out there. It was really stupid. Anyway. So I don't remember if we were parked or something, like out in the middle of no, wait, maybe it was Chris and I. Maybe it was my boyfriend my senior year in high school. We were up. No, because I was dating him. I was looking for a guy. Never mind. It couldn't have been. It could have been. But no, that was a different one. That happened when I was going out to his house at another time.
No, but I remember seeing a UFO with you one time. Like,
yeah.
It was in the same general area. It was like right past the VA. There was just like that. There was like a bright light like hanging in the sky. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
Like 1,000 feet up, and it was just hanging there, like it was hovering. And we were like driving to try to find it. We drove like all the way from near where around I lived, and this was like 20 minutes away. We drove all the way out there to like this road behind the VA hospital in the middle of nowhere, and we're like near this cornfield. We like got out to go in the field. Like to try to get directly underneath this thing, and then it ended up vanishing. Lots of shit happened in that.
It seriously does. Okay, but this one, it was like this is gonna sound insane, but to this day, I swear this is what I saw. I'm pretty sure you were the one that was with me, but you didn't see it. Whoever was with me did not see it, and I was the only one who saw it. But like. I was looking in the street and I think the car was parked for some reason. And like, I saw it, it looked like, I'm not even joking, it looked like a werewolf like crossing the street. Like it was so weird. Like I can't even explain it. Like it was like, it was not like a dog, it was not whatever, like it was this creature. I saw it on one side of the road, and then it was like they were on all fours, and then all of a sudden they were on two legs. They had like a hunchback and like a little head.
Really shadowy?
Yes.
Okay. It is so weird that you say this because I didn't see it, and I don't think I was in the car with you that night. That wasn't me. But
okay,
Jeff, who we've mentioned several times now,
yes,
he has told me this story a bunch of times from when he was in college. He went to college, this tiny little Christian school in East Lansing, and like he and a couple of his friends in the middle of the night one time like decided to go like see the town where Jeff grew up, and so they drove down to the Battle Creek area, and they were driving around in Fort Custer, and Jeff swears,
oh my God,
that they actually hit it, but it like dispersed. So he says that he has no other word for it other than that it was a demon. So it's funny that you say that you had no other word for it other than a werewolf. And he said it looked lupine, like dog-like. And the car actually, and he wasn't the only one in the car to see it either. There were like 4 people in the car. 2 of them were asleep, and the other one, I think it was his friend and his roommate at the time, Walter, saw this thing. The car actually, like, he tried to swerve to not hit it, but was too slow. But there was no impact. Like, they never actually hit anything. And when they looked behind them, there was nothing. Like, it was just like this shadow creature. And it was in that general area. So that's really weird that you bring that up, because that wasn't me in the car with you. Yeah.
Oh my God. That's, I cannot for the life of me remember who it was. And like, I don't think it was you, but whoever was with me thought, because whoever was with me thought I was insane, because I was like, oh, no, I swear to God. Yeah. Like, yeah, exactly. So that's why I don't think it was you. But like, okay. So it was like on 4 legs. It looked like a shadow. Like I did not see any kind of like, all I saw was the outline of it. And I thought like the sun was setting.
That's like what Jeff describes.
Yeah, but like the sun was setting, so I thought maybe it was just like the silhouette because the way the sun. But I mean, there were trees, like it was all trees, so it wasn't like the sun was shining through. And I mean, in my mind, of course, I'm trying to justify like what the hell this thing was, and like it got up on 2 feet, it had its little hunchback, and it crossed the road, and I was like, wow. What just happened? Like, what was that? Like, it's seriously, like, I mean, I have no better way to describe it other than, like, if you think of, like, Harry Potter and, like, when Professor Lupin turns into a werewolf, like, that is what it looked like, but, like, a silhouette of that. Like, it was crazy. And, like, once it crossed the street, like, we drove past because I was like, I swear to God, something was there. And whoever I was with was like, it had to be a dog. Like, it must have been a dog. It was like, it wasn't a fucking dog. Like, it wasn't, I swear. And, like, we couldn't see, like, we were looking in the trees and everything, and we didn't see anything. Like, it just disappeared. And, like, nothing was moving, like, anything was walking around. But that's crazy that he had to have seen the same thing that I did.
It's so weird that, like, because I don't remember you telling me this story either. And so, like, to have 2 people tell me, like, virtually the same story.
Yeah.
And, like.
Ooh, so creepy.
That is so weird.
Oh my God. Yeah, because it's kind of in the same area. I mean, obviously it was like a little further down because it was towards Augusta, but I mean, it's the same side of town as that, like the same woods.
Yeah.
That's so creepy.
Wow.
Oh, what the hell was that?
Like, not just man, it's like it's not just Harmonia at all. It's like Harmonia is like the tip of the iceberg. It's like we had like this weird UFO experience, and Lee saw this werewolf thing, and like like we just saw these things.
And then the time I was going to Chris's house. Chris was my boyfriend in my senior year of high school. One of the biggest mistakes I ever made. Actually, I had a lot of them, but I was going out so he lived out in the boonies, like the boonies in the middle of the woods, like. It was really cool, but it was also kind of freaky, and it took like half an hour to 45 minutes just to get to his house from town. And so like one time I was on my way out there, it was nighttime, and I saw, like, it looked like just this like light, almost like a saucer, which I don't like to say that because it's like, how do we know? But maybe we do know. I don't know. I won't even get into that. but like almost like a saucer shape of light that was just like hovering above the trees, very similar to like what you and I saw. Oh, but much closer, because the one that you and I saw was like pretty far away. And like this one was like, I mean, it was like right above the trees above me. Like it was right there. So I saw it close enough to know like that's not a street light. Like, you know, and and it's total darkness around me. So like the fact that there's like this beam of light in the sky and I've taken this drive a million times, but there aren't street lights because it's out in the wilderness. And so like, yeah, it was insane. And it was just like, it was just hovering there. It was just sitting there. And then it was just gone. Like it was just hovering and then it moved really fast. And it went behind the trees and I couldn't see it. And I drove back and forth a couple times to see if I could catch it again, but I couldn't find it.
Wow.
It was crazy.
How crazy would it be if like Fort Custer were actually some like top secret, like high up federal military base where they do all this weird like testing on extraterrestrial technology and like, what if like Fort Custer was the real Area 51 and Area 51 was just like a red herring?
It would totally make sense because it's like not on anybody's radar. Like, and it's crazy that like, it's crazy to me. It's crazy to me that Battle Creek is not a more popular town because they have so much shit there. Like cereal that everybody from generation to generation, like you eat it every morning. Like, why don't we have more money? Like, I don't understand because it's important. Yeah, Battle Creek is like this poor ass town that like I got the hell out of the second I graduated high school because I was like, I'm not gonna have a life here. Like I got dreams. Like they're not gonna happen here, so I'm leaving. But like it's this tiny, like, well, it's not as tiny now that I live in a tiny town, but it's a small town that like nobody really knows about and like nobody ever goes there. But it has the Federal Center, which is like one of the top 5 like government buildings in the United States. Like nobody even knows this.
Yeah.
And like
actually when you put it that way, that's really weird. When like, because we grew up hearing that and like you would think like if it were that important, it would be like a big deal. You would hear about it like on the news and like you never hear about it. Like no one knows what it is. No one knows that it's there. And like when she says top 5 like government buildings, she means like in the country, like not just in the state.
Like when 9/11 happened, I remember like people were afraid that we were going to be the next one to go.
Yeah, like people were afraid that we were going to be a target. Yeah, that's really weird. That like there's this huge like federal government hub in our hometown because that's not typical of like most towns, if you think about it. That's pretty atypical. Like, I mean, it's like a huge employer of the residents of our hometown.
That and Kellogg's are
like that and Kellogg's. So it's like like if you really think about it, that is really weird. That like more people don't know it's there. Like, what are they actually doing there?
Yeah, because people still, and I'm trying to think, because like my cousin used to have. Because he was in the Army and he used to have to do trainings and stuff at Fort Custer. But of course I was so young I didn't know anything about it. And so I don't know. Now I'm really curious. Like what is going on there?
I know, me too.
Is that why we don't have any money? Is because the government's taking it all? That wouldn't surprise me.
Right. Like it's all of the town's money being like funneled.
Smuggled.
It's like these federal government projects or something.
Yeah.
I don't know. This video just turn. We started out like talking about cemetery and the possible ghosts, and now we're like conspiracy theory.
Yeah. Our hometown is crazy. It's full of secrets. It's full of secrets. Yeah, secrets and mysteries.
Like Gretchen Wiener's hair.
Yes. Yes, exactly. Now I'm curious. Like next time, okay, so I'm hoping that next time I get to visit, or at least like next time I visit for the summer, that like I get added on like vacation time. So I'm hoping I can just like put all my vacation time to stay at home for like a week and a half to 2 weeks. So we have more time to do stuff and I can explore, see the lakes and all that fun stuff, but then we can do some
Yeah.
exploring. Take videos and do all that
Absolutely.
stuff we didn't have in high school because it wasn't really invented yet.
Yeah. We like kind of came of age and like just before the whole like internet communication revolution. So like,
Oh yeah.
we like, you could get a camera like on your phone, like you could get, but it was called a camera phone.
Yeah, it was
That
like your your little flip phone.
Yeah. And it was like a terrible camera. So like, even if you had a camera phone, you still carried a separate digital camera that had like still a pretty shitty image, like really grainy, pixelated, whatever. And so now it's so interesting that, you know.
Yeah. Like the first iPhone came out, I think my
in 2007.
Yeah, my freshman year of college is when the first iPhone came out.
Yeah.
We're old.
Yep. We are old. I just turned 30, you guys.
I know. I'm next. Yes, yes.
I was doing totally fine with it, and then I don't know. The day of, I was just like, meh. But
yeah, Myri and I both turned 30 this year. She just had a birthday, so happy birthday! This is the first time I talked to you in person since your birthday.
Thank you.
you and Rachel, but like Rachel, I was like, I always get yours and Myri's birthdays mixed up. So if you could remind me what day yours is.
Yeah, there's like mine. Hers is the day after mine, and my cousin Ben's is the day after mine. And so when I was growing up, he and I would have to like share parties.
Ew.
Occasionally, and I know it was not cool. And my most predominant memory from our shared birthday parties is that one year my mom told us we could each have a cake, and I was excited because I like cake.
Cake is good.
And my cousin Ben wanted to keep the majority of his cake and not let people eat it. And so he decided, in order to do that, he would blow his candles out with his nose, and then everyone would eat my cake. So I had no cake left over.
Oh, what the hell, Ben?
At the end of the day. Yeah, because he strategically and deliberately snotted on his cake so that he could have the whole thing for himself.
Man, what a jerk.
Cookie Monster cake, and there was none left at the end of the night.
Oh,
and
man.
He had to take a whole turtle thing. Yeah.
You should, this year, give him a belated cake. First, give it to him late, because that's even better. And you sneeze all over it. But don't tell him.
He probably has no memory of this. He'd be like, what the hell just happened? Figured out of nowhere and just like blew her nose all over this cake and then like left. It was the weirdest thing I've ever seen.
Hey.
That's Ashley. I think you are a little bit, yeah. I
It's
can
cool.
kind of hear.
You're on the computer being on the computer.
Yeah, it's weird.
I know I've kept you past your curfew, so
I apologize. This has been really fun though. I feel like we need to I feel like it would be fun for you and I to do more research on Battle Creek and like hauntings in Battle Creek and weird things in Battle Creek. Like this should be like an ongoing thing. What I'm saying is like stuff about our hometown.
Yeah, I really want to. I haven't been back to Willard in a long time, and I just like, now that I know what I know, like I just want to get into their archives and like now like their genealogy department and stuff like that.
Yes.
Because I'm really curious. Because I want to know, like, are the hauntings because of something that happened in the town of Harmonia? You know, what's the story there? I feel like there's more to this story. So
there has to be more story. Like just you talking about it, like the unknown burial thing, that really weirds me out. For a town that small, that is weird. That like a dead stranger would just turn up.
Right.
And the fact that it's also on a military base that was like established way back in the day. Oh my God, I feel like we could do like a documentary about this.
We totally could.
Man. There's got to be more to this story.
Yeah, it's very mysterious, the whole place, and the fact that like no one's allowed there. That's the crazy thing, and that could be because of the vandalism. It could be because like people have stolen headstones. Which, why did they do that, and where did they put them?
Yeah.
But I don't know. But I was saying the guy that was at Oak Hill. Oh, sorry, what?
No, you're good. Go ahead.
Oh, no, the guy that, you'll have to watch that video, the guy with the spirit box at Oak Hill. I don't know. I feel I just feel like there's so many more stories at these places that like people just haven't recorded.
Yeah.
There has to be.
Yeah, I think you're right. I really want to I really want to research this hardcore and like get into this.
Yeah, I'll send you the links of the links of like the information that I found, because there's like photos of like all of the headstones that are still there, and like I mean that's how I found like this one, because I clicked on the one that was like one of the unnamed ones, but I just think that's so creepy. Like,
sorry,
it's okay. Unless it was like, I don't know, it could have been like a stillbirth or something, and they just hadn't named the child or something, and that's why it says known to God or something. But I don't know. It's just really cool.
That's still just, I don't know. I'm so curious.
And where is that missing child of Sojourner Truths?
Yeah, and like the fact that they lived there, and there are also like unknown graves. Like, is she there?
Yeah, there's unknown graves, and then there's missing people. Like,
yeah,
how?
Yeah, that's so bizarre.
I don't know. I have so many questions.
I know. I have so many possible scenarios running through my head of like what could have happened. That's the writer in me.
Yeah.
I'm like, well, maybe the known to God person was this man who had been a prisoner of war at Fort Custer, and he escaped, and like he'd been tortured, and they couldn't get an answer out of him, and then he died and gave him a burial. Like,
yeah. Now and I'm also curious in like researching Fort Custer a little more, because that was like the next kind of set like generations of people.
Yeah.
And
I'm definitely about that.
How did Harmonia become destroyed? Like,
yeah, because like when you mentioned that it had been a village, what's crazy to me is like we thought we were just visiting a cemetery, and in a way we were actually visiting a ghost town, and we never knew.
Yeah,
that's insane.
Yeah, and how big of it? What was the like span of it? And
yeah, like what was the population? Like I wanna know more about this town.
Yeah, and there's probably more that I just like didn't get a chance to read because I had to do some work today. So, you know. I don't know. There's so much, but anyway, was drawn from spiritualist doctrine. The name itself, Harmonia, was drawn from spiritualist doctrine, which emphasized the harmonious relationship that was desirable between the real and spiritual worlds.
What?
Isn't that crazy?
That's ridiculous. Are you kidding me right now?
So apparently, the Cornells, which I know that one of Sojourner Truth. Sorry, I'm just like recalling this information. Apparently,
no, go for it.
One of her sons possibly had the last name of Cornell, James Cornell, but she had like a Dutch accent, and so like it's possible that it wasn't recorded correctly because when they took the census, like the census, like the guy didn't understand her correctly. But there's like a James Cornell that was in the army at that time, that is recorded to possibly be about the same age as possibly her son James. So anyway, the Cornells, like many other Quakers, left their original faith to embrace the new spiritualist religion which swept across the country between 1850 and 1875. Spiritualism began in Western New York State after the Fox sisters claimed to be mediums who had received messages from the spirit world. Wait a minute.
Hold on. So when you're saying spiritualism, you're talking about like straight up Victorian, like let's have a seance spiritualism.
Yeah. Which is crazy that you and I were drawn to it.
What the hell? What the hell? I had no idea. That is insane.
That just caught my eye now. Like, I hadn't read that earlier. Like, that's just now catching my eye.
That's ridiculous. Wow.
Although rappings, automatic writing, and seances were the most visible and dramatic manifestations of spiritualism, the underlying philosophy was more complex. Spiritualists sought to make the spiritual world, long regarded as mysterious, incomprehensible, even dangerous, seem more rational and understandable. They relied on natural law and provable, observable scientific facts to help them bridge the gap between the real and spirit worlds. Several elements of their beliefs appealed to Quakers, including the perfectibility of man, individual responsibility for self-improvement, the sanctity of individual conscience, and the concept of the divine spark within each person. It also appealed to many social reformers, attracting abolitionists, pacifists, feminists, and advocates of temperance. Many prominent reformers converted, including William Lloyd Garrison, Horace Greeley. I don't know these people, so I'm not going to finish their names. Both nationally and locally, many Quakers were drawn to the new sect because the religious tenets and the support of social reform movements. Leading Battle Creek Quakers, including William Merritt and Elias Manchester, converted to spiritualism and were active in organizing the Independent Church of Battle Creek in the 1850s.
Oh my God.
Yeah, so like the whole reason it's even called Harmonia is because of the spiritualism that they all converted to.
Insane.
And the fact that you and I are where we are now in our lives and we were drawn to it
and the
back
fact that
then.
we were so drawn to it.
That's
the time. Hey,
really weird.
Sorry. My cat just attacked my phone. Come here, you little stink.
Hi, Katie.
You can't have that. Here, go see your other mother. No, he smells. No, he smells.
Does he still smell? Is it still smelly cat?
He's still smelly cat. He's like on medication for it. Well, I think he actually finished his medication for it, but he still stinks.
What did the vets?
Anyway,
what did the vets say about his smelliness?
They thought that he like had a digestive infection kind of a thing, and they
isn't that what I said? Didn't I said that it was something with him, like something he was eating or something wasn't digesting right?
Yeah, they think it was because of the change though, like from moving here, like it was just a big enough change that it like upset his tummy.
Yeah. Oh, smelly cat. I would be very curious to go back to Harmonia now that we're where we are and see what happens. And hopefully it would be more like, hopefully we're brave like we once were.
Last time we were here when we were both like, I didn't need to get out of the car. Let's just go home.
Yeah. Something like that. But I would be very curious to see what would happen.
Yeah, me too, for sure. Definitely. So. If you lived closer, I would be like, let's go right now.
Yeah. I know, I don't have anything to do. Man, I keep saying that. I keep telling my man, I'm ready to move back home. Because I want to be able to do things like that.
Yeah, me too. And like at this point in my life, I shouldn't go alone. So.
No, definitely not. Yeah. Because even though like
I don't think I can outrun. What?
Sorry, it's lagging a lot now. Even though like we might be able to understand it better now, like like we might have the ability to like actually fight against that better or protect ourselves better, but also I think that we're also more open to it now because we're awakened.
Yeah, I don't think I would run anymore. I think I've spent enough time dabbling in, the communication with other realms and stuff that if I heard something freaky or saw something freaky, I don't think I would immediately flee like I did when I was 16.
Right.
So,
Yeah. Well, and even like, and we'll talk about this another time, but with the paranormal group, like experiences I've had with them where I thought that I would be scared. It was like when those moments were happening, I felt very calm and like, oh, this is happening. Okay. Like, okay. Apparently I'm the one you chose to show yourself to. Thanks, I guess. I don't know.
You, I think.
Yeah. But anyway, I think my internet is slowing down. And I think it's actually supposed to start raining like any time now because I was trying to keep track of the weather for this.
Okay.
So
gotcha. All right.
I don't think it's going to get any better.
That's cool. We still haven't eaten dinner, so I think we're gonna go eat some dinner. But I feel like we should look more into weird stuff that happens in the Battle Creek area.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I only had so much time today to do it, but I got a lot done today. It work-wise and like completely unrelated to work.
That's so much.
Since I don't have a printer here, I have a printer at work, so
yeah, me too.
But anyway, so yay! We'll have to decide what we're doing next week.
Yay! Yeah.
Assuming things go well, and maybe even try just like with our like not video but like voices, and maybe that'll help with the lag and stuff.
Okay. Well, like I said too, I feel like, and I mean, obviously, I don't know how to go about doing this, but I honestly feel like this type of thing would be really good for a podcast. Like,
I think so too.
Yeah.
So maybe we could like podcast it up, and then like I don't know if you can upload like just the sound to YouTube. Like if you just like create like how sometimes YouTube videos like if you listen to music or something with like lyrics, it'll just have a background and the audio. So I think you can just upload the audio. So I think we could do that, and then it would be less interrupted.
And tomorrow at work, I'll look into like what it takes to actually do a podcast. Like if it's something that we could do easily.
Yeah. Or I'll do it tonight because my man's working till late. I have a lot of time right now. So what I'm saying is I'm sorry if I get to it before you do because I have no life.
Oh, no, that's fine. That's totally fine.
So, yeah, we'll definitely do that. So, yay! I think that was good.
Okay. Cool.
Revisiting old memories. So.
Yeah, it's fun times. I like it.
All right. Well, you have a good night, and thanks for anybody if they end up watching this.
Yeah, thanks for any viewers we may or more likely don't have.
But maybe someday we'll. Or listeners. Who knows?
Maybe someday, yeah.
All right. Well, that's it. I'm going to blow out my candle and we'll be good to go. Okay. Bye-bye.
Okay. Bye.
Signing off.